Hello, good evening, targeted individual. I need to apologize again once today for the poor quality of this video. I desperately wanted to make this video today. I've got a webcam Logi, and I've tried desperately throughout this morning, this afternoon, to make sure that this webcam works, but it hasn't worked. I've followed all the instructions, and hence I couldn't use it. So I've resorted to using my computer's video, and hence the poor quality of this video. I apologize for it. I'll try harder to see if I can get somebody to help me to have a clearer picture, and because a clearer picture makes it a bit nicer and you can actually see the face of who you're talking to. Having said that, today's video, you can see, as the title says, death in modern day Britain, death without trial in modern day Britain. I've chosen this topic area today because there's been a series of things that have happened since the last time I went on YouTube. The first thing, number one, is about the constant harassment I'm having from the Greenwich mental health team. Especially from Oxley's. One of the last year I was told by two of the doctors. I understand that two doctors have to coincide to make a diagnosis, and we all know that in terms of us, if you're a targeted individual, they can use the rules to make false diagnosis of mental health. It's just to try to shut you up and make sure everything that you say is discredited, because it's to just be put down as mental health. Nobody wants to listen to you. Nobody wants to believe what you're saying. It's all assume and presume you've got mental health, and that everything that is happening to you is due to mental health, which is false. And some of these doctors are innocent doctors. They are naive. They have been used. Some of them are purely incompetent, and some of them are actually part of this whole false targeted individual treatment, where people have been told they have mental health just to shut them up because they are being targeted. In my case, I have strong belief and evidence that the two doctors that saw me last year, August, in Greenwich Borough, they have, at least one of them knows exactly what's going on, and I believe the other person was being corrupted. Why I said that, I believe the female one, because one of the targeted individual I've said she went to a conference of mental health, and there was a woman that had a foreign accent. So I believe this is the woman that is strongly involved in this covert action or covert war. And then if you happen to work with her, maybe in the borough she works, then she corrupts the rest of the team. So I'm thinking this other person, this other doctor, maybe knowingly or unknowingly has been compromised. That is my own belief, and I have strong evidence for that. It's just that as we know, this program, if you're put on this program, you're not told what you've done. You don't have to commit a crime. You don't have to be you don't have to have done anything for this, for you to be put on this program. If you have an argument with somebody that have access, that knows about this program, they just put your name in there, and then you're just being flagged as a bad person, and then they invoke the community law, so that people that have access to like this live stream. And I understand Metropolitan Police also have their own stream too. So you're being seen, and those people have they think they have got given right then to start gang stalking you and then targeting you. And the object of the goal of this program is for you to get the solution with your life. Either you take your own life, or you end up having mental health problem or induced mental health problem, and then you are off into institution, taken away from the society, with no due course of the law. So there is, it's just basically like jungle justice. Even jungle justice, you probably would have done something before you become a target. But in this whole scenario, you don't have to have committed a crime. In terms of me, if you check my other videos, I've actually been to the police about a total of at least 5 times to try to find out what I've done, in case if I've done anything. And my objective, if I've done anything, could apologize, could change, could amend my ways, but I wasn't told. Obviously, I didn't know how the program works, that going to the police was probably one of the worst thing you could do. And when I didn't get any joy, I took it up, escalated it to IOPC last year. And since then, I start having a targeted harassment with electromagnetic wave, which is ongoing 24/7, day and night. And there's no let off since last year, August. When I was being gang stalked, they start doing a workplace mopping, or is that what it's called, where people just turn up at work. People started turning up at my work that I felt, that made it very uncomfortable. It wasn't one or two of the staffs were involved, I think, but it wasn't my colleagues. It was people coming from outside, because it's a clinic. I work as a diabetes nurse specialist in the community. So it was like when you're on the clinic, you just see people just turning up, their workman turning up very late, people coming to repair what has been already repaired. Even I believe in especially one place where I was in central London, I believe the manager of the building knew what was going on, because sometimes by the time I get into work, it's only my office that will be open, and then somebody will put on my computer. So I started noticing it, that I had to email the rest of the staff if they are having the same experience. So there were things that I was seeing. And around March last year, somebody turned up at my work that wasn't, I don't know his intention, but he wasn't a patient. But as soon as I noted him, he left the building very quickly, and that made me a little bit anxious, knowing that something could happen to me in the building, especially sometimes I'm there on my own, because when we have clinic, you go to your clinic, and clinic we have hubs around the area that it could be somewhere else, and sometimes I find myself alone just in the first floor where we were based, and nobody else. And again, I didn't have any security alarm, any phone call in case anything happened to me, and I could seek for help. So I approached my workplace to say to them, look, this is what my experiences are, and I haven't been given anything. So instead of them dealing with the issues or trying to investigate what was going on, they asked me to go and see a psychologist. Then from there, it's escalated. I moved from there to Battersea, and then it escalated from there. And the manager there thought, because I told him what was happening, so that I needed help. I needed the help that I needed was in terms of mental health, or it was for me mentally. I was strong, I felt, but in case anything happened, if I need to seek for help, on all I asked this gentleman was to get me a security panic alarm button, which most of the time, if you're working in that sort of scenario, you should have as also co-work as a lone worker, that I should actually have a security panic alarm button that I could press in case I feel I was not feeling safe. And also I could have a phone. So, but he thought, he has apologized, but he thought he was doing my good without speaking to me, and then referred me to occupational health. Of course, that makes me, in the process of mental health. And when I was the one that was chasing the appointment, because I wanted so much to keep my job. I've been in nursing for over 18 years, 19 years this year. And I love what I was doing. I love where I was. And I was, doing other studies, doing other development to put back into the community, to make sure, educate patients, make sure I make an impact, make sure I make a difference into the community I've come to take as my home since over 30 years ago. And I followed suit. I thought, I was just doing the right thing, that they will see, because I've also collected some evidence that they will see, what I was saying. But instead, I saw this woman last year, August, any part of August. And what I saw was something that was shocking. I never knew this sort of people work in NHS, because I've worked also, I used to work in part of A&E, a section of A&E, that we also see people that have been, been assessed by consultants, psychiatric consultants have done some mini assessments too, where admitting patient. And actually, I thought, I was in good hands. Little did I know that I was, little did I know that the standard of care that I was expecting that I've given to people was their standard of care in where I was referred to was below par. And I saw this lady ask me very few questions. It was just about my blood, just about that. I gave her the evidence instead of her checking like my home phone that was interfered with, the people that was managed, the stalkers, the teachers that have managed to collect. She was not interested. She was busy asking me, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you, the things I didn't do, that's what she was focusing on. Why didn't you do this? Well, and I just thought that, I thought, what, am I standing in the course, or am I in assessment room? There, at some point, actually, I think she felt maybe I shouldn't have come there with any evidence. She got up. She seems very upset. She got up. She was like, you brought this here, that kind of a thing. I can't deal with this. You have to go and see this person. And if I knew what I knew now, I would have terminated it there and probably make a complaint. But I didn't know. My thought was that, okay, I'll go. I'm sure this other person will understand what I'm trying to say. And as soon as I got there, I think it was the biggest mistake of my life. I went in there. This man in Fairview, Oxley's, I went in there. The first thing he introduced himself to me, and my husband. Then we take a seat. The next thing he was telling me, oh, the treatment we have here, we have this treatment, we have this treatment. And I sat down there. I'm thinking, oh, I didn't come for treatment. Then I asked him, am I being diagnosed with mental health problem? He said, yes. Then by the time he realized what he said, oh, no, you're here. I'm here to assess you. But then this man, all he did was he had a copy of the first doctor that I saw on his computer, and that's what he was reading throughout. He did not ask me any question. When I finished, just possibly maybe at the most question he asked me, opening his mouth to ask me, was 2 questions, and it was not related to how do you feel, how long has it been going on, what do you really think it is, to even show me that he understood or knew. But it seems it was a predetermined treatment already, because as soon as I came in, he was already introducing me to the treatment I'm going to be having. So obviously, as a Black person, once you turn up, you haven't got a brain, so you haven't got a brain to think for yourself. It's what they think. So me sitting there, he thought he's had it on his place, and then I start questioning him and saying to him, why am I being? As soon as I finished. He just did a few jotting, and that was it. And he said he was gonna write to conclude that I've got mental health problem. I said, from what are you making that decision on? Then he said, I think I've got. Then I start questioning him that does he not understand COVID? What does he understand what's going on? As he checked to find out, he just said probably. But then he was going to write to the first female doctor to confirm that I've got mental health problem, I've got psychosis. That's what he said. Then my husband started challenging him. My husband is an older man, but then he used to work with, originally from the Caribbean, he used to work with Barbados Special Force. And when he came to this country, he also was working with BT. So he actually been seeing where homes have been booked, and he has seen booking system and the rest of it. And he was the one that actually at first alerted me that my phone and my children's phone were being blocked, because of he knows what block phone sounds like. So I did say to him, does he know what was happening currently as of last year? That as of month of August, that they said there's been an increase of from 600 at the time to 600, I think 79 people that was under 24 hours watch. Or if he thought, could have been one of them, he said probably. But then for him, it was a done case before he had turned up there. that I was gonna be told that I've got psychosis and they should start treatment, but I don't know. I thought when you go for assessment, they do objective and subjective. Subjective is what you're telling them, and objective is what the doctor is something that is measurable, that the doctor measure. And again, when I looked at it, I mean, psychosis, a lot of targeted individuals have been told they've got psychosis or delusional, you know, even though when they have turned up with evidence, it's after later on that I've read these things that I find out, oh, I've fallen into a scam diagnosis, a misdiagnosis, and what has happened then. So it has escalated from there. Since last year, I've been toiling maybe to take this case up. I did try to take I was toiling, and I thought, okay, I tried to put myself in the position to say, okay, if somebody came to me flashing a badge as a healthcare professional, you want to believe them, you know, that they're saying the truth. You want to believe them, thinking that you're working for this for the good of the nation, without knowing that you're being duped, you know, being duped into being part of a sinister plot. So I tried to rationalize it that way. Maybe it's not their fault. Maybe they didn't understand what they were doing. So I didn't take it up at the point, so I let it go. But then recent incidents, what has been happening, has made me reconsider, you know, actually taking it up to try to find out exactly how they came to that conclusion of psychosis, or how many, you know, because I think in one's life, if I'm gonna die, but at least I will die fighting, not dying lying down for myself to be throttled. Even though I'm not strong, but God has given me a mouth, you know, I'm gonna, you know, open and talk and say, you know, what you're doing is not good. So this is why I am on this video. It's not that I enjoy, you know, try to could see the quality of the video is not very good, but I feel strongly that I have to say something, that my voice needs to be heard. So what has happened ever since is that I have written a letter, which I have showed on the previous video, to the Prime Minister, because my targeting, I don't know, it's one of the worst. I'm not only having laser, I feel I've probably got a lot of implantation on my head, on my face. My face is always continuously numb, especially around my eye area. Sometimes it's so blurry that I can't see properly because of the targeting. So it's not only on my face, it goes on the eyelid. They pay special you know, attention to my eyelids, that sometimes it feels so heavy, and also my whole body, you know, my like you hear about my previous video, I did my hair mineral, and I've got a lot of you know, a lot of radioactive mineral in my body, you know. Then I did a urine test but last week, which I've been planning to do this video since last week, hoping that I will try to sort out the cam, but it hasn't. And this is the result. You can see this is yellowy, orangey. This is lead, you know, it is lead. I've done it over a week now, so that's why it's come. When I did it, the whole bottle was yellow, orange, you know, color. You know, this is lead, you know, I did this, so I've got lead, even with how dark it is. So this corresponds with, and it had a lot of other sediments, you know, it was orangey, kind of, I would say brown sediments around there, or it was more orangey. You can still see even this dull lighting. So I did my hair analysis around May, but I got the result very late, and I thought, well, I need to do my urine. This is my urine, you can see from there. So it's got lots of lead in my urine, that's it, and lots of other sediments combinations in my urine. So that is what I've got. So that continues to be the case. Every day I feel like showers on my skin. They burn, they cut. I showed the last episode, I showed some cut on my neck, which it's pointless trying to show it tonight because the video is not very clear. So cut, burns, you know, all over. And my feet were swollen. Pay special attention to my feet, they're very swollen. And that is the experiences plus the stimulation of the brain that they've been doing constantly. so that is very uncomfortable too. Then coupled with the hissing, continuous hissing, charming in my ears. And the my poor man of 86 years old is separated. He's also having charms on his ears, and his related incidences where he goes home. By the time he goes home, all the clothes, most of his clothes will be wet. What do you call it? His pillow will be wet. He has to every day remove the pillowcase to go and wash. And my one is my clothes. Normally, you sit down, before you know it's very moist. It's not wet, but it's moist. You can feel the coolness no matter where I sit. And even if I lie down, just lay down on the setting before I started this video, I could see this thing coming through the tin foil that I had, actually like drops of rain, but this rain is like acid rain pouring on you, and you could feel every drop on the skin. Even though I'm in my front room, I've not gone out. And in these instances, you could, if you check on the tin foil, you can see the direction it was coming from. House 28, my next door neighbor. So I'm kind of sandwiched in between a lot of people, So in this particular today, it was coming from house 26 because I was sitting at 28. My house is house 26, is house 28. So I'm being targeted from house 24. I'm house 26, then house 28. So the one that was coming this evening was coming from next door house 28, because when I sat down the two sets, it was coming from that direction. That's how I got to know. And you can feel it, you can hear it on top of the drops in like rain on top of the tin foil. Having said that, it is so that means a lot of lead in my body. I mean, we all know what lead does in the body. So they're expecting me to die slowly, so that it will seem as if it's natural course. Lead in the body is not natural course. I haven't drunken lead. I haven't. I've got a lead theater gown, but then this is theater gown that people use day in and day out. They still haven't got lead because it's well made and the lead is covered. And it's not only lead that I have in my blood. I have other radioactive like strontium, like nickels, like tins, like all these things that shouldn't be in my body, that shouldn't be in my blood, that they are in my blood. So it's not the lead. The lead that is in my blood that has been identified is from what this electromagnetic frequency or wave that has been targeted into my body. It's like rain. When I go to church, sometimes I come with all my top wet. It just come like rain. Nobody else sees it. Nobody else feels it. So it's all my clothes, and you could feel it by the time you feel my top, especially on my top, it becomes moist. Even it's happened to me in the bus where I just sat down. Seems to be coming from the vetting system. All I felt was all this cold burning sensation on my body, and I had to use paper to cover it. And when I used the paper to cover it, then the paper mediated it. So I knew it was coming. It was an attack. So all these things are meant to destroy your DNA, to mutate your DNA, to cause you to slowly die. So again, without knowing what you've done, without having committed any offense, and all in the name of community policing, and all in the name of making us safe. So this is not about making us safe. This is not about fighting terrorism. It's about control. And having said that, a recent one that I've just read is earlier today. It's about the liberty, human rights. It was reported in the Guardian today about this database that have been called Prevent. Actually, this database was kind of established after the 9/11 to be able to identify people that are most likely to be initiated or brainwashed into terrorism, and so that they can do an early intervention to prevent them from becoming jihadis or becoming terrorists, killing innocent people. While if you understand, it seems in the face that it was a good concept, because as a nurse we also had to go and study to be able to giving information on how to identify people that are vulnerable to be radicalized into terror, which, if you look at it, it looks very good idea. So the police, the teachers, the nurses, we're all rolled into it. We went on study day to be able to identify what we need to be looking out for. Yeah, having said that, I mean, we're up for it, because at the end of it, nobody wants a terror. Nobody wants their community being devastated with terror, or, with all these, bombs and the rest of it. But if you look at it more closely, it has now come to the liberty through the access to freedom of information. You now got to it that that actually is more than 21,000 people that have been referred. So if you're a nurse, if you maybe do on a home visit and you stand, you think, or you have an idea that somebody vulnerable is being radicalized, you have to make a referral, and then the early intervention will intervene, and then that will go into the database. So they will intervene and try to educate maybe the person through their intervention to stop them from being radicalized. Why on the surface it sounds something straightforward, something not sinister, but if you look at it, when you have over 21,000 people on the register, that means anybody could be referred. So maybe this is where I come to the conclusion. Maybe this is where all the targeted individuals' names are, because if they are referred to this prevent, so on the word, you're being flagged as somebody that is being radicalized or about to be radicalized. So that means that they have to. But in this case, they also noted that none of those people have been noted why they have been. So as a targeted individual, you're not being told why you're being targeted. You're not being told. Even with targeted individual, probably it's worse than those ones on the prevent. I don't know, because at the end of it, for me, I try to find out, what have I done? I've lived in this country most of my adult life. What have I been done? I think I have become, a good citizen. I'm a good citizen. I'm part of the community since I came here as a young lady. So what have I done? Instead of getting any help from the police, I mean, a woman reception at the Lucian police actually went the first. When I met with her last year, and I was telling her, she was not last year, 2017. She actually was telling me that I'm adding 1+1 and getting to a bigger sum, and that is all in my mind. Without knowing me, without talking to me, all I said to her that I've got a lot of people and I've got video, and she said to me they couldn't accept the video, they couldn't accept my evidence, and that when it's happening, I have to call them, that I could be filming innocent people, but then how does she know they're innocent people? How would she sit on top of her desk or behind her desk and know those people that I was filming are innocent? And I believe that woman was one of those people. And I think she felt it got close to home, because I have actually seen her on Canada Water on so many occasions. And I've also seen her at Woolwich when I used to go to a New Wine Church, stalking me there. So I felt it came so close to home and I believe that's why she said so. And anyway, having said that, so it was reported today by National Counter Terrorist Policy Headquarters. So all the name of this of those people that have been referred are in a database. So that is where it's kept at the National Counter-Terror Policing Headquarters. So that means anybody have access to this, and they are meant to be only trained people into counter-terrorism that should have access. But any police force in terms of English, Welsh, Scottish, they all have access to it. They just need to type, and I believe all the operatives to have access. And they say some of them have been referred to other agencies. So about 3,000 have been referred to over 3,000 have been referred to other agencies. Who are these other agencies? And based on what referral? And those people that they said is for prevent, have they tried to contact those people to say, oh, look, you've been referred, and this is what you are referred on? What have you got to answer? These people, like myself, I don't know what I've done, why I've been referred. All I knew, I got on a train at Cannon Street, trying to come home to look for my purse with all my credit cards, and that has put me on the debt, which on the death list, and this list is a death list where you're being, identified and used as your body is being used as your living, as a living soul, living body. Your body is being used as a military research. So to see when your body starts to disintegrate and you die. So then they pretend as if it's not happening and pretend as if it's natural. So you're being used as a living experiment. Why people are earning money on your suffering, and you haven't done anything. Now, for me, I haven't, and now I try hard to try to find out what have I done. Why am I being gang stalked? And when I did not have any joy, I took it up higher, and that's what we're meant to do. The IOPC is where you refer. If you're not happy with the way things are handled, you talk to somebody senior. It's just like if you go to Sainsbury's, if you buy something and you're not happy with what the ground staff are doing, you ask to speak to the manager. And at the end of it, your aim is a resolution. So my aim was a resolution to find out what have I done? Is it something that I'm doing currently or something that I've done so that I can make amends? But no, I was not entertained, but they were quite happy to run around me, men, women, they, because they are being paid. For me, there's a price on my head. So I don't know how much they're earning. And I'm sure if money wasn't involved, if a huge amount of money wasn't involved, I don't think this program will run the way it has run. They are the people at the bottom list, maybe they're being paid, their home being renovated, and there are people at the top list that are earning a lot of money over the years on my suffering. And just watch me, my body disintegrate. And my understanding of how this program works, there is no coming out. There is no saying we do this for 6 months, we do this for 3 months, maybe you should learn a lesson. But no, you're done. Even people that have committed crime, people that have gone to prison, people that they have murdered people, they give them, you're going to stay there 20 years. And after 20 years, if you've changed your life, we will release you. But in this program, there is nothing like that until you die, until you go get mental health, or we put you and falsely feed you with mental health, medication until you die. And that's what we are. That's what the program. But then when you ask people, what have I done? That is very thin on the ground. Nobody has got the guts to stand up and say, this is what you've done, and that's why you're being punished, or that's why we're using your body as an experiment that you haven't consented on. So what I saw today was the Liberty organization, a part of a human rights arm of this organization. They have asked for freedom of information access, and that is where they found out that over 21,000 people were referred to the Prevent program, and out of that, over 3,000 have been referred to other agencies, and out of that, there were over 3,000 children around 15 or lower that have been referred to Prevent, and out of that, about over 3,000 are between 15 to 20 years of age. And this is based on presumption and assumption, not actually what these people have done. That is what they think they will do or what they feel. But then, if this was the case, how come that 2015 or 2017, those people that were able, the real jihadis, the real criminals, were able under their nose to go and blow up innocent people on their way to work? If this was for us, if this program was to prevent, if these programs that they have put in place was to monitor, how come that they did not pick up on those people that were actually, gone on to do harm and kill members of the public? Is because if you look at it, and what the Liberty have rightly said was that this program is not about keeping us safe. It's about, control. It's not about keeping us safe. It's about control. And it's not, if you look at it, I don't know how many Muslims, in this program, the Prevent, they said they were mostly Muslims. I don't think so. I think all the targeted individual, in my own humble opinion, I think their name is on this. We are just a subsection. Probably we are just the ones that have been passed on. Our names have been passed on to other agencies. And which are the other agencies? They're agencies of military defense. So those are the agencies that carry out this targeting, this electromagnetic torture. And in my case, I've seen packages of brown packages of water packed in packages, like water for life, that have been packed in packages. So I'm sure they have the equipment next door, and that's where the water, I don't know what is in the water. There must be something. It's not probably a good water. There must be something in the water. And also I've seen some vans, local vans, trade vans, a lot of them going up and down this street. And I've seen a lot of them with ladders on, and a lot of them with radar on their top. A lot of them. I've lived here since 2004. I have never seen such a fleet. There's so many of them. A lot of them. I don't want to start mentioning their names now, but there are lots of them. A lot of tradesmen. A lot. We are not just talking about Sainsbury's. We're not talking about those. I'm talking about, I'm talking about electrical. I'm talking about surveillance. I'm talking about security van who roaming the street. I'm talking about in this year, January. I'm always also seeing people like, fantastic services, parking in front of the house with lots of white bottles in them. They have changed their car, the logo in their car, but then it still does not stop the service. I was seeing a lot of them every day around January, February, March. They were parking on the street and parking in front of the house. And when I did my blood, behold, what was there? I saw arsenic in my blood. There was arsenic in my hair follicles. There was arsenic. So I wonder what was in those white bottles. I will never know. But they were there. They were also one of the treatment. I also saw some other ones called glazed bath too. As soon as I could see them, the next thing, this car speed away. I don't know why they speeded away. I didn't talk to anybody. I don't approach anybody. That's it. So that is what is happening. So this is the latest news. So they have rightly said so. The Liberty have commented that these people put on this database. This is not about making us safe. They have rightly said so. This is not about making us safe. It's about policing. It's about control of the people about. And they make specifically about minority community, and they also make specific mention of activists. So that means this is where the names of targeted individuals are. So all in the name of, counterterrorism, this is where our name is. And some of us, over 3,000 have been referred to other agencies, and the other agencies are the defense agencies to be targeted. I don't know how many people are actually, number of people are targeted in this country in terms of electromagnetic wave, but I know for sure I'm one of them, and a lot of blacks. When I went on the BBC, when we went to BBC protest, a lot of the black people are saying we're also having electromagnetic wave, targeted on them. So a lot of the blacks are getting the whole full spectrum of the abuse and the torture, especially in my case. I have, and if you're being vocal, so it is, elevated to a different level, and that is what is happening here. So I just thought I'll update you with that. So the Liberty has actually identified that this database, that is being controlled by the counterterrorism office in London. That the database is being used for sinister purposes. That is not used to make us safe. It's not to make us safe. It's used for control, to control the people, and it's used also to, especially the minority community and activists. So we all know that they like to target activists too, or whistleblowers. That is what I just thought. The person that brought it on was Jamie. He was reported on it on the Guardian. It's a chilling police database release. Chilling police database release. So the counter-terror have been keeping thousands of people, their name and details on this database. And from this database, they had about over 21,000 people's name on the database. And out of that, over 3,000 have been referred to other agencies. And all the other agencies are those ones that probably involve gang stalking and involve torture with electromagnetic wave, which I'm one of them. So I just thought I'll let you, update you into this. You can go and read it. I read it. It was today. It was. I used my I went on my MSN. That's where I got this story. And as I'm coming back, I'll come back to that is what I said. That without trial in modern day Britain, if you're being targeted in terms of electromagnetic wave, slowly they're killing you. It is a slow death. You could develop cancer. A lot of people. I saw one of the man that has prescribed onto my channel. The poor man every day is being harassed by police. With Anthony, he's been harassed by police. Harassed by, told he's got mental health problem. Every day he's been taken from his home into mental health institution because his neighbors is commenting on his neighbors, that are harassing him. And now he's got blood cancer, because so this program is not about is to slowly kill you and pretend that it's not happening, that it's happening naturally. That is basically one of the end story, is to eliminate you from society even though you have not committed a crime, and to pretend that they are not the one doing that. The elimination, or you're dying occur naturally. If you have cancer, obviously people do develop cancer naturally. If you have mental health problem, obviously there are people with organic mental health problems. So in other words, nobody will know that we are the one causing it. But that is what I meant by death without trial. But then they haven't told you what you've done, or try you in court to bring evidence against what you've done, that this is what you've done, these are the evidence. You have not been tried in court. And there's a court system, there's a functional system, there's a good system. There's a system where people commit crime, they gather the evidence, take you to court, and then you go to prison. You pay your dues to society. But it's not the case. They use community policing, where people that have had grudge, there is no evidence, but they assume what he might do based on hearsay, thinking, and pointing. It's just like what we were in 16th century, where people were, witch hunt, where they say, oh, this man was the one that caused me my leg to swell up, and there's no evidence. He hasn't done anything. You haven't showed what he's done. If he hit you in the leg, but he's the one, I believe he's the one that is causing my leg to swell up. It's witch hunting. It's the same thing. We are back to where we started as a race, So that means in the 21st century, we really haven't developed much at all. We think we are, but if you look at it, we're just going around in circles, back to where we were before in the 16th, 17th century, where innocent people were born as being called a witch. And where is the evidence of a witch now? Where people were called a witch because of finger pointing is the same thing. Community policing. And what, as my husband, 86-year-old, done, he's lived in this country for over 50-something years. So if you stand up for your right, then that means you're wrong. You're wrong. You shouldn't say anything. You should just accept. And the power that has been given to police, to the military, they're using that power to kill innocent people indirectly, slowly kill them, and pretend it's not happening. And say, oh, they are mad. They're this, they're that. And that's what is death without trial. There's no trial system. They're using common people. They're using lies. They're using abuse of power, deformation of character, and tell people that you're bad, you shouldn't be here. And who has the right to say you shouldn't be here? If you're that bad, why haven't they taken you to court and then to be taken away and put somewhere and then rehabilitate? Tell you that what you're doing is wrong. You need to change your ways. These are how you can change your ways. They haven't done that. Instead, they have scandalized your name, falsified the neighbors, said you're a bad person, and then the people to also believe, they haven't questioned it. And obviously, when a man with a badge comes in flashing, they believe what they say, and then they join in the gang stalking, they join in the abuse, and then until your body disintegrates and you die. And then my understanding is that when somebody dies, they have accomplished their aim, and then they will go into pub and celebrate, and then that person is gone, then they will pick on the next person. And this is where we are in Britain, modern day Britain. What baffles me is that even the UN, I don't see how vocal they are in Britain to condemn what is happening, because I don't think they're blind to what's going on. I think they have an idea. Last week on Monday, I actually walked into their office in central London to ask for help. I know they are actually dealing with refugee, but I thought when I walked in there, but at least they will give me some. They cannot answer all my problems. At least they will direct me to where I should go. Honestly, when I went in there, I'm glad I went in there, because my idea of United Nations, they're about human rights. When you see them reporting about all these third world countries, where harm has been done to people, how they've been very strong and very vocal and make their presence shown. When I walked in there, I didn't see that. I met a young man, I met a young woman, but the information, they listened to me, they listened to what I was saying, but there was no help coming out. When I even suggested, should I write to Brussels, they said no, there's no need writing to them. Or all they said to me, that I should contact the law center. That was it. That was a United Nations. That is where you have thought when you walk in there, at least if they can't do anything, they can strongly direct you to any organization or to where you can seek help. And they said they couldn't do anything because I have a British passport. And I'm saying, what has that got to do with it? British or no British passport? If you need help, it's a humanitarian, it's about human rights, regardless of where you are, that you seek help, that they should at least have some information where, if they can't help you, where they can direct you. But that wasn't the case. I don't know. I haven't said that. I don't know if they're real workers there or if they've been imposed there, maybe because they don't mind reading. Maybe they knew I was coming, so they put people there. I don't know. I'm not gonna. They were nice. They weren't, they weren't uncomfortable. But I just thought, if you're United Nations and you're seen as the embodiment of human rights, people that so if you can uphold, direct me to where I can go, then what is the point of you being there? So, but then United Nations are very vocal when they go to third world. They're very vocal to point out the errors of what they've gone wrong, but that they're not, when it is a first world committing the same crime, albeit in a more subdued way, then you don't see them comment. There is no comment, there is no vocalization, just like what is happening. If this was happening in Nigeria or happening in Africa, they will be up and armed. Everybody, even Britain, will be talking about how people need to be dragged into 21st century. But I am here 21st century in modern day Britain. But somebody is pumping, somebody has ordered that I should be killed, but I should be killed quietly by pumping acid, by pumping frequency, by pumping things into my body until my body disintegrates or I develop illness, that I suffer. Which one is worse? Taking a bullet and killing the person, or making them suffer until the last day they breath? I think this is the worst type of death. I think this is callous. I think this is the bottom of the earth. I think this is worse than what is happening in Africa. Yes, that one you can see is right in your face, but this is worse. People die, their body disintegrate. While they are laughing, they know what they're doing. They could see you. They could see your suffering. They could see no amounts of pleading. There is no end to this. When it starts, when your name is placed on the database, there is no escape. There is no taking you out. And the evidence, that in my case, when I leave home, people come here to scan my home to take evidence. I have to be carrying bags on the street looking, okay, when they see me, they say, oh, she's getting mad. Madness, I laugh in your face. The bags that I have are some of my documents that I have that I'm not going to leave here for you to pick up. And also, I have my medications that I take daily. I'm not going to be dumb enough to leave that here for you to swap, for you to rub things in it. And that's what I carry. And in these days, I've been seeing that even what I'm carrying, by the time I turn around, it's all wet, it's all moist, and it does not matter what you do. But at least they are with me. So I'm not going to leave that. So if you equate that to mental health problem, my dear, you have your own head examined. I haven't said that. I have said that. Then the next thing is about this doctor the male doctor from Oxley's. Now, I feel harassed by this man. I'm feeling harassed by this man. Last week, Thursday, Friday, this man turned up here. Having said that, I sent a letter to Boris Johnson to have a look into this case. In this country, you're encouraged to write to your prime minister. You're encouraged to write to your MPs if you have problems, if you feel it's not being resolved. You are encouraged to write to anybody, organization that will listen. I have not done anything out of place. The letter I wrote to Boris Johnson, I wasn't abusive, I wasn't rude. All I said was for him to order an inquiry, to commission a parliamentary inquiry into gang stalking and electromagnetic wave harassment. It is going on here. It is now in the public domain. So nobody would think or would try to bury their head in the sand that it's not happening. And that's what I said. And that's what I wrote. And I used what is happening in my family to ask for help. And that's what I was not rude. But within 2 days, 3 days after I wrote, obviously, they knew I was writing a letter. Obviously, the letter has been intercepted. It didn't get anywhere. Obviously, those people that I wanted to hear the letter, they had no access to the letter. But then somebody said I was a national threat. I was threat, a fixated threat. And then refer that I should be referred to mental health. And then I got a letter. It says from Fixated Threat Center. I asked the lady from Oxley, Greenwich Village, to send me a copy of the referral. Up to today, that was done in August, I think August, September. Up to today, I'm still waiting for the referral. Who did the referral? When I questioned them, I was told that, number one, it came from Buckingham Palace. And I said to them, I did not write to Buckingham Palace. They said they're all the same team. I said, okay, can I have a copy of the referral? That I was told, no, it came from the GP. That can I have a copy of the referral? That I was told, first I was told it's from the GP. Then I was told it's from Buckingham Palace. Then I was told it's from Haringey. That a psychiatric consultant wrote the letter. I said, can I have a copy of the referral? That was not given. And then lastly, a letter was sent to me saying by the 3rd of September, if they don't hear from me, they will refer me back to the GP that I don't want to engage. Then after that, then I got a call from a lady saying she is a nurse, community psychiatric nurse, calling me that she wants me to, calling me on a Monday, asking me that she wants to see me on the 24th of September. And that she was coming with the male doctor that I've said to everybody that will listen, I don't want him near me. And what did they say? I said, no, you can't come in because I've got other commitments. You can't call me on a Monday, say you're coming on a Tuesday. And this lady started threatening me, saying that it's for my own good for me to comply and that she was going to refer to social worker about my grandchild. I said to her, refer to social worker about my grandchild. I went to court for my grandchild to be given to me. This child was taken into care and she suffered enough. And I said to her, the little girl has suffered enough. If you want to continue in that, then refer back if that's what you want to do, because we would go to court and then we will fight it out in the court. I've done that before. So then she said to me she was going to come with this male doctor, which I'm just trying to respect him not to call his name. I said to him, I do not want that doctor near me because he has made false diagnosis. Then she said to me that if she can't come, I said to her, I will tell her. And I said to her, I could make an appointment with her on the 27th of October. And she said she was going to come with a friend, not with a friend, with a female colleague. That she will not come with that same doctor. She will come with a female colleague. For me, that was okay. I don't mind because I was going to also get members of my family to sit here so that we wait. And then she said she couldn't make on the 27th because she has got holiday. I said, okay. I sent her email. Can we not wait? I called her again on two occasions, sent her email on 2 occasions to say, look, these are the days I can make. And then she said to me the day I wanted that she couldn't make it because she will be on holiday. I said, okay, can you not come when you come back from holidays? Can you not book the appointment? I did not hear again from this woman. I contacted her again through email. I tried to make an appointment to find out the day she wants to come. She did not respond to any of my emails. Then last week, Friday, I sat down here on my own. All I could hear was a knock on my door. And that was around 20 minutes, about 10, between after 11 in the morning. I could hear a knock on my door. I tiptoed to the door. I could hear somebody calling, Grace, Grace. And I tiptoed and I could see from the hall, I could see this white doctor, male doctor from Oxley, Ferry View, knocking on my door and trying the flip-flap where you drop mails, shouting my name. And I didn't know why this man was there. Because number one, I have made an agreement with the female that was the psychiatric nurse. She said to me she was going to come with another female to talk to me. So why on earth did this man think he has the audacity to turn up on my home with no announcement, with no previous information? He did not phone me. He did not agree with me that he was going to come. He turned up at my home, start shouting my name through the letterbox, and he turned up with a black man. So maybe he thought, if I see the black man, I'm going to open the door for him to do what? I don't know what he's capable of doing. I don't know if this man is a pedophile. He might be a pedophile walking like sheep's clothes. I'm not saying he is. I don't know if he is. What made him think I was going to open the door and let him in? He was actually standing there outside shouting my name, Grace, 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 trying to check if I was at home. He has not consent. I didn't consent for him to come. He did not phone me that he was coming. He did not email me. He did not say anything, but he just turned up here with another male knocking on my door. Obviously, I did not open the door. Obviously. And after, when he was gone, a few minutes later, a private call just rang. A private call just rang. So I believe they were using that private call to check if I was at home. I was within my rights because I know he hadn't made an appointment. Excuse me. Pardon me. I was within my rights because he hasn't made any appointment. And I've made it specifically known to the woman, to the psychiatric female nurse, that I had no intention of seeing the man. Excuse me. I've told him that I had no intention of seeing the man, and she said she was going to come. And this is the private call that was on the 27th. Private call was 12:07. This is it. So this is it. Private call. Private number. That's 12:07 on the 27th. That is the day the man turned up here, my door, with no announcement, with no consent. He turned up there, start knocking. I think in his mind, he thought if he turned up with a black man, because I didn't see him. What I saw was a black man there. He was busy shouting Grace. I did not open my door. I was on my own in the house. I was actually in my night clothes. I did not open the door. Then that was done. I didn't hear from him. I didn't hear from the woman, the female psychiatric nurse. She didn't call me. She was meant to come back from holiday. She didn't call me. She did not talk to me. Then again, what turned up last week, Friday, again around the same time after 11 o'clock, again, this man turned up again in my house. This time, thank God my husband, we are separated, but he comes here very often, comes here frequently. He was in the front room. So he came in, I didn't allow him in. He turned up here again, start shouting at my name, Grace, Grace. So did not phone, we did not make a plan. This nurse did not phone me back. She did not answer my email. I even dropped her email because I lost my phone and I was trying to get a new phone. I said, please email me. Don't phone because I've lost my phone. She did not email. She did not do anything, but she turned up with this man at my house last week, Friday, after 11 o'clock again. And this man started knocking on my door on this instance because there was somebody with me. I did open the door and I asked him. And on this instance, he did not make mention of the fixated threat that they said I was, that they would, because of that, they referred me. He didn't. He mentioned that my occupational health, he was coming on the basis of my occupational health. And that was so last year. Occupational health, because of what he wrote, I was being threatened with sack after working with National and NHS for almost 19 years. I had to resign. I had to take early retirement. Excuse me. I had to take early retirement, which saddens me because I've gone to study. I've gone to do all these things to be able to help my patient. My mommy died from diabetes. I believe if I have any breath in me, I'll do anything, even if it's one soul, not to develop complications of diabetes. And that is my aim in this life. You know, that is my aim. And I went to do all that studies. I was ready to implement what I've learned to try to help as many people as possible. It's type 2 diabetes becoming an epidemic in this country worldwide. It's not only in this country, worldwide, because of the kind of food we eat and lack of exercise. And I have gone to do some study, try to, learn as much as possible so that I can impact, so that I can educate, so that I can help people to live a healthier lifestyle. And they have actually taken that away from me. Fair enough. And it was not enough. This man turned up on my door again with no announcement, with no phoning, with no email. He did not try to contact me to say, look, I'm coming. I work in the community as a nurse. When you're going to somebody's home, you would have phoned them to make an appointment that is suitable for them. And then the day you're going, you will email or phone them to say, is it still okay to come? And if they say, look, because things could have changed before the last time you spoke to them and the day you're going, you phone to say, look, I'm on my way, or is this meeting still okay at this time? And then they can consent and confirm. No, he didn't. This man just thought because he's attached a doctor to his name, that means he has the right to turn up on my way. And this time when it came, the excuse they were giving me, so it's different from Buckingham Palace referral, GP referral, Haringey referral, fixated threat referral. That is four so far excuses I've heard. And this time he was using the occupational health. He said, oh, I just wanted to see how you're doing. How will he turn up in my home to see how I'm doing without first phoning me to see? He can phone me to find out how I'm doing. Why would he want to turn up in my home? They think that this man is harassing me and he's trying to use his profession to try. He did it last year, it didn't work, but try to make sure that I'm being forced into treatment that I don't need. Treatment, the false diagnosis that is done, is trying to cement it. And of course, if I'm forced into treatment, I may not come back alive. Because when you're drugged, you don't know what they're drugging you. You don't know what effects it's going to have on the liver, on the body. You don't know what else they are. And if they're working as a team or somebody that is trying to kill you already. So if I'm in their care, that is, I'm in the theater, I'm in their table. So they can poke and knife and do. By the time I'm walking out there, I'm walking out there, a living dead, just waiting for the time for my last breath. So I'm going to, if this man doesn't talk, I'm going to mention his name in the national so that people could write to him and ask him to stop. I've not done this man anything. I went in there trusting him as a doctor, but he has failed. This man has failed himself. It's not me, he's failed. And when last year, when I checked Oxley's, I don't know where they got these doctors. When I checked them, their rating was between 1 and 2.5. And I knew if somebody is rating you as 1, there's obviously something you're doing that the patient is not agreeing and you're not listening. And the NHS trust is not listening to what the patients are saying. The man has turned up in my home on 2 occasions now. and it is bordering to harassment. The first time he tried to say, I've got psychosis, 86-year-old man has got psychosis that just started when he met him. Nobody else knew he's got mental health until he saw this doctor the day he went last year, August, to escort me. Because he said they're also targeting him and stalking him. And he had evidence. I had evidence, clear evidence. My phone was blocked. And last year, somebody corrupted my WhatsApp and put a black female private part in my WhatsApp account. A black female. Maybe it's me, because when you go to bed, I know my bathroom was compromised. Maybe it's my private part, but it does not bother me. But my grandchild used my phone to phone her mother, to phone anything, to play games. And that's what I was worried. I removed it the first time I saw it. The second time, it was put in again, like a picture in my WhatsApp. And now this year, this doctor used that as a basis that I said, oh, somebody was putting. And this year, it is well documented this year that they had breached WhatsApp. They breached it. So what I said was correct. It wasn't only private part picture. They said it. They actually said a woman's, a black, a Saudi Arabian one. Those people that cover their faces, put out I don't know what they call it, cover their faces, and then into my WhatsApp account. And a friend of mine saw that picture in the account. Because when I was telling her, she said she saw it. So this doctor has based mental health, psychosis, based on his own head, without listening to the patient, without taking into account what I said, without taking evidence that I brought to show them into account. So he refused all those, but based the psychosis on his own detachment, or I don't know what assessment he was doing. But then my head that was being radiated, he did not do MRI scan. He did not do, I'm told that there is a psychosis blood now. He did not do any blood to say, okay, let's see what's going on in your body. He did not do that, but he sat down there and said, I've got psychosis, without doing any objective assessment. As a nurse, as a healthcare worker, you do subjective is what you get, information you get from the patient, and you do your own objective analysis by measuring blood, by measuring all the other, parameters, then to come to a conclusion and say, oh, well, this is what we're thinking. He did not ask me how I felt. He did not ask me what was the interpretation of what I'm thinking was happening. He did not, but he sat down there. He already, by the time I met him, he said, hello, he introduced himself. He was telling me the medication I was going to be taking. And that's when I started questioning him. And then this man had the audacity to start harassing me in my home. He has turned up here twice now. The first time was last week on a Friday, unannounced. He came with a man. The second time was this, not the Friday on the 27th of September. The second time was last week, Friday. This man has turned up again. And this time he said, oh, my occupational health doctor that was being brainwashed referred me, but that was so last year. And because of that, I lost my job. I'm no more in clinical. I'm no more in direct clinical, with patient at the moment. So why is this man turning up in my home? What is he turning up? So they are giving 4 excuses of trying to turn up in my home. First, they said it was the GP. I said, no, GP didn't do it. And they said it was from Buckingham Palace. No, I know there is a section called fixated threat, but that is not in Buckingham Palace. They are in Victoria, because I Googled it to find out where they are, because I just wanted to find where exactly are these people. They said to me they were in Buckingham Palace. I found out their center is in Victoria. Then they said, no, he came in from Haringey. Haringey is not in Victoria. Haringey is in North London, by my understanding. I don't know where it is, but I believe it's in London, not London. So they say it came in, the referral came from Haringey, from a psychiatric a female consultant, and then I asked for the referral. Up to today, I have not had a copy of the referral. Instead, I was sent. I showed it on the YouTube previous time. Instead, I was sent a letter that said if I didn't come, and the lady was threatening me. It's for your own good if you don't turn up. If it's for your own good, it's for your own good. What good is that? Being misdiagnosed with mental health problem. It is well documented that the covert action, they use misdiagnosis of mental health. They use psychiatry to misdiagnose. It's well documented. When are they going to get it? That people now knows what is going on. So they should stop using this. I had actually contacted a Royal College of Psychiatry. I'm going to write to them if they are aware that this is going on. And I've actually contacted General Medical Council, because they need to know that this is, if there's a covert action, they need to know, maybe re-educate their staff to know, to be able to identify people that are covertly, attacked. Because they are hiding under this legislation of once two people, the diagnosis, because it's so fake, it's so vague in terms of mental health. It's not like doctors, that when, real doctors, when you see a patient, from what they tell you, you do your ops, you do your observation, then you do your objective assessment of what's going on, and you come to a conclusion. The mental health is so vague. Yeah. Because somebody said, I'm being stalked. Oh, that means they must be mad. How do you know they're mad? Have you checked their story to find out if they're not being stalked? How do you know? Psychosis is not only from schizophrenia. It's not only from personality. It can also be caused by stress, and can also be post-traumatic stress. So you're going to be medicating people. Counseling would do. Thank you very much. Give them opportunity to talk. Thank you very much. Let the problem out. Find a solution. It doesn't have to be medication. This man has been stalking me. He has turned up here twice unannounced. I have not given him consent. He has not discussed his coming here with me. It does not have to be. The excuse he was giving, he's the only psychiatrist, but then he forgot that it was a female psychiatrist that referred me to him, and they all work in the same trust. So why didn't he ask her to come to my home if he felt that strongly? So if anybody is having this sort of problem, I wrote to the Prime Minister. The letter has been, intercepted. He hasn't got to him, so they don't know what's going on. I've written to my Assisi, my MP, Assisi, Nigerian house. I'm original from Nigeria. Assisi, my husband's country, which is from Barbados, because they are attacking this 86-year-old man. They are attacking, so that means they, I don't know how Britain has let itself get to these points. I don't know. They've just spoiled where I held Britain. I held Britain high. I still hold them high into a certain extent, because I'm not gonna use the same brush to brush everybody. There are people in this country that are trying. There are people that are trying. So I'm not going to use the same brush to brush, because it's not everybody, but a section of the country is really pulling this country down, because if you're going about the world telling the world you're a beacon of hope, we are not like Russia coming here and kill people. We are not like Russia. Put the face of those Russians, we have to identify name and shame. But then it is happening also in this country. And Russia knows that it's happening here. It's just that a lot of people haven't gone around to see. So what gave them rights, to put Russia's face on, whereas it is happening here. It's the same killing, regardless of how you want to paint it. It's the same innocent people that are being killed. It's people that are being killed. It's human beings that are being killed. So if you're putting Russia, and then it's happening here, you're not addressing here. It's the case of, removing the speck in somebody else's eye and leaving the log in your eye when you're blinded by all this hatred. you know. You're naming and shaming Russia, name the world and shame them, but it is happening here. People are being killed. The young people are targeted to the point that they can't take it no more. They say, I rather go somewhere else where my soul can be in peace. And then my understanding, these people will have, you know, they are so removed from the human compassion. They will go to the pub and drink to the fact that this person has, you know, been targeted to the point that they can't take it no more, and then they take their lives. And you will sit here and say to me, "Oh, we are better than Russia. We are better than Syria." No, you're not. You're in the same category as far as I'm concerned, because at the end of it, somebody is losing their lives. It's about lives. Somebody is losing their life. And in your scenario, it is worse, because a lot of people don't know what you're doing. And you're doing it. It's called silent holocaust or hidden holocaust. So it's worse. God knows how many thousands of people have been killed in this way. And then you're earning money and pretending it's not happening. It's worse. It's worse. It's worse. I think people need to wake up, and that's why I've used death without trial. You're not being tried. You're not being told. Like the report that just came, people are not being told. Even when you actively seek to find out. I went to the police to find out. Got a solicitor to find out. I phoned Metropolitan Police, because am I thinking that maybe there's something I'm doing that I'm still doing that I'm not aware that I'm breaking the law or something. I don't want to break the law. I don't want to live here in so many years that my soul is at peace. Why would I want to break the law? But I might be breaking the law without knowing. I went to the police, and that's what you did. And when I didn't have any joy in the police, I took it up. All I'm thinking, please, I need to know what I'm doing, because I don't want to do it if I'm still doing it or offending anybody. But that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case. Instead, they invoke the community policing to target her home, dump electromagnetic wave, which can have rebound on children. Children are living in this home. And then we pretend it's not happening. Then when Russia does the same thing, then we put Russia on the map. We put China on the map. We put Africa on the map. We call them by their name, call them and shame them. Whereas, call Syria and shame. Whereas it's also happening here. Maybe that's what is giving this other country incentive. It can happen here. That is a first class war. That why can it not happen somewhere else? And that's why Britain is not being taken seriously, because they know it's happening here. So you can read the news. You can read. It's in the Guardian as of yesterday. I don't know what time it is. It's showing that the police have got a lot of chilling database, number of people, about over 21,000 people on the database. And out of that, a lot of children, about over 3,000 are under 15 or under, that have been referred to this database. And this database police have got access, and some of them have been moved on to other agencies. When they call other agencies, the other agencies are what we targeted individual are, where the defense mechanism and all that target you and put you on this debt list, so for your body to be used as a living research. So anybody that will have magnetic wave dumping on you, see how you're gonna react. Refeed it, dumping on you, knock you on the head, knock you on the eye. But when you're asking, what have I done? Oh, we are not telling you. Oh, we are not telling you. So why are you killing me? No, we are not telling you why. Well, even in America, where they have the death open and death penalty, people are still given their day in court. They're still told what they've done, and they are given their day. They have access to solicitor. They have access to their. Now they've got this program, but at least they also still have those avenues that people. And in some targeted individual, they said sometimes the CIA identify themselves that they're the one targeting them. This is from the CIA. But in this country, there's none. And there's none. So this man is trying to hide what is going on for the government. I don't know if he was dragged into it, or if he's doing it under duress, or if he's doing it, he's totally incompetent, or if he's doing it, I believe he knows what he's doing. I believe maybe initially he didn't know, but since he's been dragged in, he now knows what he's doing. And that's why he's persistent, trying to use his position that they give him to abuse his position, turning into my home every day, trying to make me come over there so that they call the ambulance and say I'm not well and get me straight to hospital. So maybe by the time I get into hospital, I'll never come back alive, or by the time I'm coming back, I'm half dead because of what they're going to pump into my body. Anybody knowing him, please tell him to leave me alone and stay away. I've already just leave him. He works in Fairyfield. Please, anybody who knows him, tell him to leave me and just mind his business. I'm minding my business. Since last year, I've not got in touch with him. I've told people I don't want him around me. I have left CLCH because of the occupational health doctor. He has also bought into the theory, but he's himself. I feel sorry for him because, I mean, if somebody else is turning up there and saying the same thing, he will do the same thing. He does not know his right, his left from his right. So it's not his fault anyway. I'm not going to blame it on him. He was not the one that wrote the report. So he's basically just going on what the report. But from him, what he's saying, he's talking a total, I'm not a rude person, but I can't be rude. I'm naturally not a rude person, but he's talking something from where I don't want to call because he does not know what's going on. He wrote in there, say, oh, he would think I need medication from what he's seen. I don't know what he's seen. I carry 2 bags. One of them is where I put my things. I'm not gonna leave them home. I've got this one. I bought it. This TR field. This is what you do to find out the electromagnetic wave when it's coming. And I use this one. This worked well for me. I put it on YouTube. And I'm not gonna my RF machine. I'm not gonna because I buy them. I buy them. They're quite expensive. And I've heard from YouTube where people leave their equipment by the time they come, they're broken, they're trash. Anyway, in my home, they come here constantly. They have a duplicate key. They've taken my diary. They've taken all the letters that I had here that I kept for evidence. They have poisoned me 2016. I was 2017, pardon me. I was as sick as I thought I was gonna die. For 3 days, I was vomiting. I've been eating the same food. It was not cooked or undercooked, or it wasn't something that you have to cook. I became so unwell that I was coming out from my nose. And since that day, I try to cook and eat on the day. I don't eat leftover food because I knew what happened to me that day. It was something that I knew somebody has tampered with my food. And as if I knew, I didn't know then. I had no information. I've not done a research then. But then when I did the research, they said they poison people's food. They will add the poison slowly to kill you. And I remember somebody said in Britain they use a lot of arsenic. That is their desire. But then maybe these days they're changing it to something else. But then when Russia came here to poison somebody, we're shouting. So if they're poisoning somebody with arsenic, then what? Poison is poison, regardless of which one you use. And killing is killing, regardless it's poison, regardless it's bullets. At the end of it, somebody's life is lost. Somebody is taking somebody's life deliberately. So when you're pointing hand, the national MI5 pointing hand, putting a Russian face, you should be pointing hand to yourself because you're also doing the same thing. You're doing the same thing. At the end of it, it's somebody's life you're destroying, somebody's life you're taking, either directly or indirectly, either overtly or covertly. It's somebody's life that you're taking. So it's dead. And you haven't tried that person. No matter what you think that person is done, there is a due process of law where you collect your evidence, you take that person to law. To one of your colleagues now is now 18 years prison for telling lies. That is what you should be doing. For falsely accusing people. That's what you should be doing. The evidence is there. Collect the evidence, take them to court, let them be locked away for so many years. And hopefully by the time they come out, they're rehabilitated. But you haven't done that. Instead, you're putting poison in food. Instead, you're using electromagnetic wave, and then you're using the fake doctors. Because at the end of it, as a psychiatric, you need 2 people. It's only a suggestion. You're suggesting it. You need 2 of them to collaborate. And my occupational health said they follow due process. What's the due process? Collaborating lies. So when you have 2 of them collaborating lies, then you've got a diagnosis, false diagnosis. Just like every TI I mentioned the same thing, targeted individual, victim of COVID and over, they have mentioned the same feature of psychiatrists, psychologists lying, telling them that they've got mental health issues because they have complained that they are being targeted. But now everybody knows about gang stalking. Everybody knows that there is something that is called gang stalking. Everybody is becoming aware that the military and the government, the black ops are using electromagnetic wave to target people. People are coming out with scars. People are coming out with brain damage. People in Cuba, they're coming out. They say it was sonic, then they're saying something else, but then people are coming out with injuries, physical injuries. So it won't be long. Everybody will be aware, no matter how you want to step on it. Then where we the psychologists or the psychiatrists would have lost their credibility. And then those people that really need help will be overlooked because people will just think, oh, it's the same thing. Because they've been lying. 86-year-old man with no previous mental health except when he turned into that man's office on August last year. Then he had the audacity to write to my employer to say, oh, he doesn't know who had mental health first, if it's him or me. He's 86 years. No confusion. He's still active. He was going to bingo until August or May this year. If you're confused, you won't go to bingo. If you're confused, you won't have a part-time job. But this man sat down there and said, 86-year-old man, he's got psychosis. And so he doesn't know if I develop it first or him. Then he did not ask himself, how the two of them in the same family develop it? Is there something environmental that is causing it? And you're meant to be a doctor. It is about holistic assessment. So if I develop psychosis, my 86, I'm in my 50s, my husband is, yes, he's an older man, 86 years old with no previous history, won't you be asking yourself, is there something in the environment that is causing it? Because by birth, it's not related to me, so it's not going to be in blood. You as a doctor, you're meant to assess, you're doing the assessment. So you sat down there, did you think it was environmental? You had not thought about it, doctor. Because you're meant to do holistic assessment. If I present myself to you, you're meant to take care of me. You're meant to look after me. So if you feel it's not physical, it's mental. So what is causing two people in the same family? It's not related to me by blood. It's the husband. And the country is not related. It's from Barbados and from Nigeria. So if you're saying both of us develop psychosis, then what is causing the psychosis in the family? Do you think it could be environmental? It could be from the water. It could be from the food we're eating. So you haven't done your assessment, have you? You were not independent in your assessment. You did not do any MRI or CT or anything to take you away from what has been written and sent to you. And then you have the audacity to knock on my door and say you wanted to see how I was doing. With your fake assessment, with your false assessment. You shouldn't be earning money for this type of thing you're doing. I think you should hide yourself in fear. I don't know, maybe you were a good doctor before, I don't know, I've never come across you except now. But I think from this thing that you've done, I hope to God that it lives in your conscience to the rest of your days. Because you know within your soul that you've told a lie. And you're trying to deform character. I've left my job because of your assessment. They were going to sack me. So I left, I resigned. I took early retirement because of your assessment. And these days, I see psychiatrists as fake. Because by profession, you need two of you. It's not really, it's suggestion, isn't it? It's suggesting. It's not real. So it's based on what two people collaborate. When you suggest and the other confirm, that makes a diagnosis. It shouldn't be. As a doctor, you spend how many years in reading medicine? You should be able to see what you see You do, you test, you examine, and then you make your decision. But no, because of the nature of your work. So it's not really, I wouldn't be proud to be a psychiatrist, would I? Because you haven't got the audacity to make a diagnosis by yourself. It has to be collaborated. And when your collaborated lies, and this is what it is in this incident. I don't know if you've got a conscience, but I think you are. If you've got a conscience, I think you need to go and think about it. If you're being paid, if you're under duress, I feel sorry for you, so that you are being targeted to, because you cannot say what you see. You have to say what they want you to say. So you're not a free person. A human being is standing behind your back and breathing behind your back and asking you to say, so you're not really free, are you? So when you see a black woman, you think I'm a sheep to you. So I'm just going to sit there and take it. I'm not going to sit there and take it, because God gave me my mouth, and I'm going to say it on the rooftop until the day my breath is no more. And I thank God for that. And whatever that is, I'll give glory to God, because he has made me. At least I've seen the beauty of his hand. I've seen what he has done. And I give praise and I give thanks to him every day for this experience. But I'm not going to let a little man like you take the glory of God from me. I'm not going to let a little man like you take the glory of God from me. So with your diagnosis, well, we see where it's going to be, because you have done a real boo-boo, darling. You have done a real boo-boo. And I hope in your conscience till the day you die that the mistake you done will stand in your conscience as you wake up, as you go to bed. It will stand in your conscience. If you're, as for the woman, I'm sure it's not, I'm not the first one she's done it. I'm sure she's been doing it, but your own nemesis will catch you up. Your own nemesis will catch all the misdiagnosis, and all that false diagnosis. One day it will catch up with you, and it won't be in a long distance, because when people are beginning to identify you, I remember Bella saying, and she's been forced into medication. I wish she was stronger than that. She said it. As soon as I saw you, I started hearing that foreign accent. I said, I believe this is the woman this lady, this young girl was talking about. So you have not failed. This is what you've been doing, misdiagnosing people and declaring them, deforming their character, saying that we got why they are being attacked, why they are being tortured. So that means you know about the torture. You are part of the torturing. You are part of it. Anyway, there you are. My video is not very bright, but I'm just hoping that somebody out there will help me to make it clearer. I'm sorry. So I just want you guys to go into, I use my MSN, because that's where I do try to read my news. I don't buy papers. That was the news I saw today. I just thought I'd bring it to your attention, of the national database that is called Prevent database. That is a Prevent Counterterrorism. It's been kept managed by the National Counterterrorism. Their headquarters is in London. It's about getting people's name when people are referred, people that are being suspected of going to be radicalized, people that are being suspected, young people that they're going to be, teach into radicalized into terrorism. So they have this database. So I don't know where they have 21,000 youths there, but it seems there's a lot of people, over 21,000 people that have been referred to this database, that their name is there. And from this database, they said over 3,000 of them are children in this country. If they go to Central, if they have paid attention to what's happening in Central London, maybe those children will not be killing themselves. So they've referred over 3,000 children into this database that are under 15 or under. And then some of them are over another 3,000 are between 15 and 20. So they've been referred. And they, according to Liberty, that's asked for freedom of information, they are saying that this database is not about preventing. It's not about to prevent terrorism. It's about control, social control, and about targeting community, minority community, and activists. So it's about activists, and you can see what's happening. So once you make a voice of wrongdoing, something that is not going right, that is, it's against human rights, then you become a target. So your name. So this is probably where all the names of the targeted individuals are, and out of that, over 3,000 have been referred to other agencies. Other agencies are probably, in my own opinion, I don't know, my own understanding, those agencies are defense agencies, and those ones are the ones that carries out all these targeting. They are the ones that carried out all this, because all this targeting, you don't need a big, you just need the vans. They are all loaded in vans, vans with radar. I've got two in my home. I used to have one here, and there's a white van there that has been parked, a small van. These days they used to come in blackout vans now. Some of them are actually displayed from the optic fiber, electrical companies. There's so many of them that will line up on these streets. I've never seen the fleet of them since last year, as many as what it is. And sometimes they will move off a field. Sometimes they go on the basement, because where I'm living, it's got a communal basement. Sometimes they are parked, their cars that have been parked permanently in the basement that haven't been here, for years. So they are parking there, and that's where the electromagnetic is just been poured into my body. And there are vans that they will park on the street. Sometimes they are mini white vans, sometimes they are gray vans, sometimes they are blackout vans, and it's so many of them. Sometimes they come with the radar on top of it, and you can see. And if I take the picture before the picture has been hacked off my phone. So that is what is happening. If you go to the Guardian, you see it was written out by Jamie. I can't remember his surname now. It's the one that I highlighted it, and it was written. It was Chile police database release. So they have released this database. So that means targeted individual is real. So it's not something that is hidden. It's real now. There is a database where your name goes into it, and flagged up to all these agencies, and then this thing gets into place to be targeted, to be harassed, and then they go into your neighbor, slander you, and tell lies about you, and scandalize your name and deform your name. And then those neighbors, given those information, they think they have got right scent, to get you out of their community by targeting you, by pouring this thing into your body. But then if you reverse the case and start pouring things into their body, if you can buy this and start pouring into their body, then they will go and make a complaint that you're trying to kill them. So it's the other way around. So they are enrolled into this then to target you, to kill you slowly. So this is about killing you slowly without trial, because it is meant to make you feel unwell. It is meant to make you feel uneasy. It is meant to mutate your DNA. Like me, by last year, by early this year, my blood were waxed, my body was full of heavy metal. So everything that you can think of has been poured into my body to destroy me as a person, to destroy. I have, without committing a crime, without trial, I've been shouting in my house, if you think I've done anything, take me to court, take the evidence, take me to court, put me in jail, let me be in jail, for whatever sins you think I've committed. But that is not done. So this is death without trial. So till you die, you don't know what you've done. You don't know who put you on the list. You don't know what you've done. So this is a death list that we are on. And this is operating in modern day Britain. And that is the end of the topic. That is the theme of my topic today. So as it is, do your own research. Be strong. A lot of people now, you need to get the words out if you're not getting the words out. If you go to Udoh-Williams, he's the one, if you attended the BBC protest, you see Udoh-Williams is a young gentleman that was using the microphone. He was an excellent person that day. So if you go on his YouTube channel, you can see he talked about how this thing works. Very educative. I've just checked in there, and he also have a form, a form that you can use, because my letters has been intercepted. So he has a form that you can use there how you can write to the MPs, how you can write to human rights organization. I think the more we get this out, the more this get looked into. You can't just, even if you're gonna die, that's my own belief. I think you should stand up, still stand up and speak up and still say no, what you're doing is wrong. Don't just accept it. And at the end of it, you're gonna die, you're gonna die. So you can as well say what you have to say. And at least it's noted, at least there's a testimony that you stood up and said what you have to say, instead of just lying down and say, well, I'm gonna die, let me just die. You need to stand up, you need to get up, you need to say, you need to be vocal, you need to let everybody knows what is happening, who is doing it, and hopefully at some point this will be stopped. So if you go to Mark Williams, if you go to his YouTube, you can hear what he said, and he's also talked about how you can contact your MP, how you can contact a human rights organization. I didn't see him before I wrote a letter, but I don't know how. My letter wasn't abusive. Maybe the English wasn't top notch, but according to my own standard, I just wrote, and I think it's easily understandable of what I was trying to bring to the attention. So don't be afraid. You don't have to be perfect. If you can't write any letter, just see what Mark has said and just follow his instruction. Another person is Dr. Horton. Catherine Horton, I think she's also got example of how you can write your own letter. So try to contact your MP. We need to bring this thing to the table. We need to bring this thing for everybody to know what's going on, because a lot of people, especially in Britain, are still in denial. Even in my own family, I can use that as an example. They're still in denial. They don't know what's going on. Maybe as children, it's a protective measure for them, because nobody wants to see their parents suffer, especially when it's not like somebody that they can see a gash of a kind of stabbing, and but this thing is probably worse than stabbing, because when you have stabbing, hopefully if it's not in your main artery, then you can go treat it, and then they could see, people can see the physical. There is evidence, but there cuts and bruises and things like that that could be hidden away. It's not very gooey, so people don't believe. And if somebody is knocking on your head, it's inside the head. And when you have an MRI scan, it was interpreted as with the age and all that, which is not. It's not. Before now, I didn't have anything. Before now, I didn't have any problem with my head with the age. Yes, I am growing. Yes, I'm middle aged, but it doesn't have to come with bruises and swelling on my head, and my head is actually swollen. And today I use my my meter. I could actually feel pulsation around my eyes here. I could actually feel, and I could actually feel 2 knots here, just there and there, and I could feel as if I'm having frequency here. So maybe I've got an implant there. You can even see from there that it is swollen. From here, it is swollen, and here you can see it is swollen. So there's something going on around this region of my face. There's something going on. This part, they're numb, but this part is worse. So there's something, and actually I could feel sometimes pulsation. And when I put my hand here on my ears, according to one of the YouTube where I saw, I could actually feel a pulsation in my hand, as if someone is dropping some pebbles on my hand, and that is where I'm told that it comes from the satellite. So there is a lot of pulsation on my head. My head is swollen up, and that is not caused by age. That is not caused by, it's not a normal process of age where you just sit down, your head start pulsating, and then you start having agitation at the part of the head. It's not normal. This is not normal aging process. I don't see a lot of people in my age group saying to me their head is swollen, and you can actually feel the pulsation on their head and tension, pressure all the time on your head. And the pressure is even worse in some area. You can actually see my eyelid, that my eyelid is swollen. You can actually see. You can see. You see what now? It's clear. You can see my eyelid there. There. It goes on there. It goes on the other side too. So I will apologize again for the poor quality of this video. It's just I've been doing everything. I'm just not getting it with in terms of electronics, but I don't have anybody to help me. I tried to make my logo work. I know it was working before, but something seems to be stopping it, and I don't have anybody to help me to correct it. So until such a time, I hope to make a brilliant video, but at the moment I can't. I'm so sorry. So I hope you forgive me, and just read the guardian for yourself. And if you're having anybody, I think what we need to start doing now is to start writing the Royal College of Psychiatrists. If you're being misdiagnosed with mental health problem, get your evidence of gang stalking or evidence of, and we need to start writing to Royal College of so that they can get all the psychiatrists, start questioning their motives, and we need to get on top of it, because it's not only the other part. I think the psychiatrists are part of the team. Some of them, I'm not saying all of them, they are part of the team, misdiagnosing people with, I know the criteria is of diagnosis, part of their criteria, but then if you present with evidence to suggest otherwise, I think they should be given, they should listen to those evidence and not just assume based on assumption and thinking that, oh, those evidence don't matter. They do matter, because that's why we collect evidence, because that is what to prove that, this is happening, this is not happening. But when those evidence are being ignored, then they're imposing what they think it is without actually knowing what it is. They are not experts in covert or overt war. They are not experts. So really, if they don't know what to do, then they shouldn't be diagnosing mental health. They really shouldn't be diagnosing or treating people for mental health. And having said that, there is no cure for mental health. There is no cure. The mental health, the medication is just to dampen down the symptoms. It's just to dampen down the symptoms. It's not curing it. So if the environment is causing the mental health, should it not be better and less expensive to take away what is causing the problem, instead of having to take medication and continue living in the environment? If you take what is causing the problem away from the environment, then there is no need for medication, because there is no cure for mental health. So these doctors, behaving like voodoo men, that they don't know what they're doing. They just hope that these plants will work, this plant will work. Even some of them, they do. I mean, the voodoo men, probably they know, I don't know. I've never used one before. Not that I have intention to use one. But this is what is happening in psychiatric is diabolical. It's really below standard you expect from this country. I think the psychiatric Royal College of they do need to start taking into account what people are saying now. There is a lot of people, especially in the targeted community, complaining and identifying psychiatrists as one of the people that are making their problem worse for them because of misdiagnosis of mental health. And some of them are actually being forced to take treatment when they are not mentally ill. So it just makes people look at psychiatric as a joke now. Eventually people will come to not respect their opinion, because if people see them as fake, then they're not going to respect their opinion. And even if people are genuinely unwell, they won't want to be involved with it, because they see them as fake. So if you're having problem with psychiatrists, if you're having problem with, I think the best thing we have to start doing now is start alerting the Royal College of Psychiatrists, alerting human rights agencies, no matter if they want to put their head in the sand. One day everybody will start waking up. Like the experience I had with the UN office in London, I did not expect, I did probably expect it to a certain extent, but I thought they would have done a bit better. They would have said, oh, well, we don't deal with that sort of problem here, or we are just about the refugee, but if you go to this area, this where you can get help. But they didn't. Even when I suggested should I write to Brussels, they actually actively discouraged me. Oh, there's nothing they will do. So where do you go for help? Who is national? Who are they? Union, UN. Who are they then? If they can't help, so what are they for? What are they for? Then why do they mingle with human rights when there's problem in third world countries where human rights abuses people have been abused of human rights? What if they can't help you? So why are they mingling? That means that it's a two-faced thing. There's one you don't talk about, and there's one you want the whole world to hear what you're doing. So it's two-faced. So it's two-faced then. It's two-faced. So if you have a rule, it has to apply to everybody, be it first-class country, second-class country, third-world country, because you want everybody, regardless of which country they belong, to be treated in the same way. Human rights, fair, free of torture, free of maltreatment, have the same right just like any other person. So if you're targeting the third world country, then the first world country, you're too afraid to say, then you shouldn't be in that position. You really shouldn't be in the position of saying human rights, or you're the one carrying the banner for human rights. I was so disappointed. I was actually so disappointed. Not I wasn't expecting it, because I know it was like Sean Gibbs said, he's been going around in circle. They have not, but I was, when it was happening, I thought, oh my God, I didn't believe this was really happening. You know, but it was happening. It was good that it happened. So at least I know where if I'm talking about United Nations, I know exactly, because I've experienced it firsthand. So the best thing is, if you can't be fair for all, then don't get involved. Just get yourself out. Don't get involved. So if you're going to be involved, then that means you're fair, regardless if you're a first class country, second class, or third world country. Then you should be fair. If human rights abuses are being, human rights are being abuses going on in any of the, you should be in the position to call it for what it is, and then ask the government to change. But if you're not, then that's why people will not respect you, because they see your partiality. That in one sense, in some country you're using the whip, in the other country you're putting your head under the table pretending it's not happening, whereas people are being abused in first world country. People are being abused all over Europe, all the countries that have got this system of they are abusing people. It's people that are using it. They're not using it on animals, they're using it on people. It started in Germany, and the West have adopted it. It's being used across Europe. Electromagnetic wave is being used to target people across Europe. So that is my say. God has given me the ability to say it. God has given me the mouth to say it. If I don't say it, nobody will say it for me. I'm saying it because I'm being abused. I'm saying it because I'm being targeted. I'm saying it because I have never done anything to anybody to hurt anybody in my life. I'm saying it. I'm not a radicalized Christian. Neither am I a Muslim. I'm not saying all Muslims are horrible, or horrible, but I'm not a Muslim. I've never done anything to hurt anybody. I've never come to this country to hurt anybody. I've been in nursing for over 19 years. I've never used my position to hurt anybody. When I leave home, I ask God for grace to be the best I can and to do as much help as I can. And that's what I've been doing over the years. So for me to be targeted and there's no help for me, and going to the police and I'm not being listened to, then a little man turning around to say to me that I've got psychosis, even though I presented the evidence I had. My phone was blocked, my home was blocked, my phone, my things taken from my home. Somebody sending, corrupting my WhatsApp. Now is well documented. It's now been brought to light that WhatsApp was corrupted, and people were being hacked. That WhatsApp has been hacked. That means what I said, you doctor, what I said was right. Somebody placed two photos of a black woman's pubic hair on my WhatsApp, and I don't have male friends to say they were kinky. My friends are all Christians. My friends are all nurses. So I won't post that to any of my friends. Neither would they post any of that to me. So who posted a black woman's, apart from the person that has been terrorizing me? And one of them was using NERD, NERD, crafter chat room, was sending hidden messages to me. I don't know how to find out exactly who it is. Then I should be able to get the name. Was sending messages to me in my phone. And last year, May, I was sent a message that you are dead. And when I was at the time, I was so panicky. Looking back, I should have calmed down and taken a snapshot of that, shot of that, and show. But then when I said it, this man did not want to hear. So it is like, it's not psychosis. Now we all know that WhatsApp was hacked. So it's not psychosis. And WhatsApp was hacked. And that's how that man managed, or man, because it cannot be a woman that will take another woman's pubic hair and send it to another woman. What for? So I'm sure it's a man. So you, doctor, you need to, when you are doing your fake diagnosis, you need to really know what you're doing, because sometimes this thing come back to haunt you. Now it is well documented this year that WhatsApp was hacked. And my WhatsApp was hacked last year. So the truth comes out in the end. WhatsApp was hacked. It's well documented this year. It's been in the news. WhatsApp was hacked. And the picture that came into WhatsApp, there were two sets. One was the pubic, and the second one was a Muslim woman with their face covered. And they said this jihadi, southern jihadist woman, you know, were terrorizing Ethiopian women. I don't know what has that got to do with me. I don't know what that's got to do with me. I've never been to Saudi Arabia, neither have I been to Ethiopia. What's that got to do with me? I don't know. So I don't know the benefit, but I know they were trying to say to me that I'm a Muslim. I'm not a Muslim. I will never be in this life. I'm not saying Muslims are bad. Not all of them, but some of them are. So I'm never, and neither am I a radicalized Christian. My father was a priest, and my life has been in the sanctuary of God. And there's nothing that you can do to change that. So you have got it wrong, all of you. MI5, MI6, you're listening, you have got it wrong. You have got it, you're meant to be intelligent. Your intelligence is meant to be above every other one. But in this case, you have, that shows you're only human. You have got it wrong. You had opportunity to write it, but you haven't. But you put my name on the database to be killed, to be shot. Well, when God time says my day is for it to be up. If not, you have no power. And that's it. So, good evening, everybody. So I'll suggest, what I'll also suggest to people, make sure you send your hair for hair analysis, or you can buy the urine test. This is one, I think, the heavy metal test. This is where I find out I've got all this. So I've done my hair and I've done my urine. This is a lot of lead. So I've done this. It's degraded since last week. I did it last week, Friday. It's degraded, but you can still see the sediments. So it's all yellow. It's degraded. See, I took a picture of it. So it's degraded since then, but you can still see I've got a lot of lead in my body because I have this thing being poured in my body. It's like shower from morning till night. And that's why I have to cover with tin foil. And anybody coming into my home saying that I cover with tin foil, you need to go and read what tin foil is meant to do. Because if you are not knowledgeable in covert action or in direct energy weapon, really, especially I'm directing this speech now to that doctor, to those two doctors. If you're not the expert, really, you shouldn't be diagnosing people. A lot of people now, they should actually suspend psychiatric diagnosing people, because a lot of people now are actually being affected by an electromagnetic weapon. A lot of them probably are not organic mental health. They are mental health that is being imposed, that is caused by the environment. So a lot, what I'm saying, especially black young men and black women, I think, and probably activists. So anybody coming in there, they need to ask them exactly how do they start to feel. Is there anything they're feeling on their body? You know, because it is a lot more people are being affected with a direct energy weapon. Probably are not mental health. They are not organic mental health. There are people that has been induced. I carry 2 bags. Yes, I carry 2 bags. There's a reason. And people seeing me on the street will say, oh, Chika, because I mean, the occupational health, I knew where it was coming, because when he saw me, he started looking at me, and I actually knew what it was. He sat down there looking smirk, and I thought, you think you're smart? You're already not smart, because by the time you're smirking, I've already read about it in and out, probably knows it. I can actually teach you as a doctor. And I sat down there, he was smirking, looking at my bag. Yes, I had my bag, but he didn't ask me, oh, you have 2 bags. What's in your bag? He did not ask me, but he just assumed because I had bags. Yes, I had 2 bags. I still carry 2 bags. Even if I want to carry 3 bags, because there's a reason. I'm not going to leave my medication, my thyroxine, for you to poison. I've been poisoned once, so you learn from from experience. If I didn't learn, then that means I'm giving myself opportunity to be killed, you know, and leave my children. And secondly, for my small loss that I have, that my blood results to be taken away. Things have been moved from my home. My diary was moved that I was keeping. My diary was moved that I was keeping. The cars that were stalking me, there were many of them. There were some Mercedes. There were white men. There were black men. You know, I kept diary, and I'll document if it's a white man, the time, and that diary was taken away. And then they take letters away from this home. They've taken about 2 or 3 letters away from this home. The letters I have from the doctors, the dates that I was disputing, and they were confusing themselves, and I could see it unfold in my eye. And those letters, they took them away, and then they corrupted my my computer, taking all the evidence of my phone tracking. They took took it away. They photocopied it, printed it out, something, I left it there. They took that away too. So I'm not gonna let them take whatever I've got here now. I'd rather take it with me. I don't have a car. If I have a car, I'll put it in my car, but I don't have a car. I'll take it with me. So if that constitutes mental health, then you need a new assessment. You need a new assessment, because you haven't asked me anything. You haven't asked me to find out what do I have in my bag. I know people that have got mental health. Some of them, when they're very confused, but when you open their bag, it's trash. You can see what's in their bag, things that they pick in the dustbin, put in there. God knows, thing they think they will need to eat, later they will put in there, and you could see something rotting away. I've seen it myself. So it's not the same. So for you, that doctor, CLCH, that one in that you were smoking, there's no point to swear. You haven't got knowledge. You haven't got a clue what's going on. It's all around you, but you haven't got a clue. You have no idea what's going on. And you're sitting there smoking. And I was looking at you smoking. I said, oh, you haven't got knowledge, my dear. You think you're smart. You really, no, you have not got a clue. That's it. What I'll say to you. Anyway, good evening, everybody. Have a blessed evening. It's very late today. I apologize again for the quality of the video. I wish I could see somebody to help me, but I have nobody to help me. And I don't want to involve my children, because they don't believe in this anyway. So they haven't seen their mom ever in the years. My children have seen me. I've always worked. I've always tried to be strong. I'm not very strong, but I try to be strong, because as somebody that I became the mom and the father, single woman, separated for so many years. But so they don't know what's going on. They know something is happening. They don't know, but they are also in denial, because they don't believe Great Britain is is capable of silence Holocaust. Nobody believes, but the evidence is beginning to come out. People are beginning, and the respect that people, the high esteem, that is what I'm struggling with, because I hold Britain as very, very high esteem. That my vision has been crushed, and I don't like it. I hold this country very, very high esteem. Probably I've got some distant ancestors from this country. I don't know. I've not tested my blood, but through history. But that illusion in my eye has been crushed. That is what I'm struggling. Because there's so many good people in this country. There's so many good people that are trying to do so much right in this country, but there are few elements of this country that are trying to drag the country down. But then when everybody comes to see what this country is really like, the illusion that people have about this country, or when you go there, they have human rights, they do this, it's just gonna crash. And then maybe that's why some rogue countries are not respecting Britain, because they know they're doing it, but it's not. People don't know that it's happening. It's silent Holocaust. Why should it be happening here? This is a great nation. Why should it be? Yeah, they involved in slave trade and the rest of it. Yeah, then but they changed. But why should this be happening? Why should this be allowed to happen here? The illusion people have about Britain, that high esteem, you've just crashed it for me. I didn't want you to crash it, but you've just, bring it down, crash it for me, So that is what I'm struggling with, because this country is meant to be a beacon where people, hope. If it's bad everywhere, when you come to Britain, surely. I'm not saying the aspect of it, people that have come to abuse the aspect of it, like the terrorists, but then who allow the terrorists in is Britain too. So, at the end of it, but other innocent people are the one that is bearing the brunt, So the illusion that I have about Britain is being crushed, it's just crushed. And that is what really upsets me in the whole saga, where another human being will go behind the wall and pour acid, pour poison and then watch this person disintegrate. That is the vision that I'm still struggling to comprehend in myself, that it can happen in Britain. It shouldn't be. Britain should, it shouldn't happen in Britain. It should happen maybe in my country. It shouldn't happen in Britain. It shouldn't happen in Britain. It shouldn't. It shouldn't happen in Britain. There's a lot of good people in this country that will do anything, do anything to make it right for other people. But then there's that element of people, evil, and they've used the money. Their money as the root of all evil, and place money over life, and then praise racism. It's about money and racism, thinking that because of the color of your skin, you're better. You're not better. If you think you are, you're not. It's just an illusion in your head. You're not better. The skin color, the what? No, you're not better. Everybody cannot be the same. God made them, we look different. That makes it beautiful. So you're not better. My skin color is different from yours. My nose is flatter. It does not make you better. Still does not make you better. You're not better. You're not. It's the same pint of blood. It's the same function of the system. It's the same genitalia. It might be different color, but some of you is, you know, it's not what even mentioning. So you're not better. You think you're better. You're not. You might be cornea, but you're not better. So don't think you are better. That's why. No, you're not better. We're all human. It's only one race of human being. We look different, different colors, different egg texture. But if I stand here, you stand there, the same anatomy, 2 eyes, 1 nose, the same number of teeth, the same 2 hands, the same. The anatomy is the same thing. Man, woman is the same thing. So there's no difference. The color of the skin is what changes, and it's good. The hair texture is different, and it's good because we cannot be the same. The fingers are not the same. It will be boring. So, but if you think because of that you're better, no, you might use your brain maybe more active than a black person and try to be cunning, and the black person might be more thinking, oh no, but in terms of no, you're not better. And that's what you've been thinking. You're cunninger and you can deceive. So it's when people take your deception. For me, I can see through all that deception. No, so you're not better. You think you're better, you're not. You're not. Yeah, God made us equal. In the eyes of the Lord, we are all equal. So that's what the grace I take. So thank you everybody for listening. Good night. God bless. Stay in peace. Write to your MP. Write to the government. Yeah, ask for public inquiry into targeting and electromagnetic wave. By so doing, to be brought into the public, and we find out how many people have been sent to different organizations, how many people they are targeting, so that they can put a stop to it. I love this country. I love this country. I don't want this country to be, its influence, its respect to be diminished by the action of few people. Thank you. Good night. God bless.